Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm starting a new kind of a thing here. A Recon advice video. I had a person in the comments ask me if I would do advice for Recon games to help them run better games. And so I thought I'd try my hand at it. I hope this helps. I've been playing Recon a long time, not near as long as I played Dungeons and Dragons, but I've been playing a long time, and I've had a lot of different adventures. I've done videos on them. Check them out. If you get the opportunity, go check them out. And I hope that these videos help. This first one is I'm doing starting a Recon game. So if you're just starting out and you're curious as to how best to do it, this is what I've found works for me. Now, there are people who don't want to play in Vietnam and they just want to start as mercenaries, and that's fine. You can do that, and I've got ideas on how to do that in here as well. So this I'm going to cover both Vietnam and mercenary sections. So, and again, I hope this helps. Here we go. Recon is a game set in the Vietnam War and the mercenary period immediately following it. That would be the 70s. Maybe early 80s. I have not played the modern versions of Recon. They've got some out there that is set in the Middle East. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and like that. I've not played those, so bear with me. The very, very first bit of advice I'd like to give you is to talk to your players right out of the box and ask them several questions. The first question, very important. Do they want to start as basic grunts in Vietnam, or do they want to start as mercenaries after Vietnam? Now, I would recommend starting in Vietnam, but some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. This is a very important question. Basic grunts who survive can and often do become mercenaries later in the same game. So if you're starting a long-term campaign, here you go. Now, if they start out as mercenaries, I usually give them 2,000 to 4,000, depending on their experience level in gaming. Give them 2,000 to 4,000 experience to improve their characters. This reflects their time in the bush and will better prepare them for their roles as experienced Vietnam veterans. Mercenaries. Now, when you give them this experience, tell them that only half of this can go toward weapon skills. The rest of it has to go for navigation, driving a tank, flying a helicopter, language skills, that kind of thing. Now, again, I recommend starting them out as grunts because most players will not have any kind of military background. Starting as grunts will acclimate them to the world of military operations. They will develop a feel for role-playing as soldiers. You'd be surprised how important that is. And the second very, very important question, how realistic do they want the game to be? War is horrific and tragic and messy and shitty, and in the grand scheme of things, really unnecessary. Soldiers go where they are ordered to go and kill who they are ordered to kill. War is never good. Period. Anyone who has served in a war knows all of this. The enemy, in this case, the VC and the NVA, the enemy is brutal and unforgiving. They take every advantage and they give no quarter. They use every trick in the book to kill and maim the PCs, and sometimes invent a few new tricks, of their own. Never, ever underestimate a fanatic with a little training and a desire to do harm. I would fear a fanatic over a trained individual who doesn't really want to be there. Professional soldiers on a battlefield can be reasoned with. A fanatic is a whole different critter. The VC were all fanatics. The NVA was a well-trained military, but they used many of the VC tactics. If your players want realism, I suggest you watch the following movies: The Green Berets with John Wayne, The Deer Hunter from 1978, Hearts and Minds from 1974, Full Metal Jacket from 1987, We Were Soldiers from 2002, Platoon from 1986, Rescue Dawn from 2006, Hamburger Hill from 1987, and Platoon Leader from 1988. Two really good TV series to watch are Tour of Duty and China Beach. I own Tour of Duty. It's over there on the bookshelf. Really, really good. It gives you a feel of what the grunts go through in Vietnam. As a matter of fact, Vietnam veterans have praised Tour of Duty. If your players want the ultimate realism of the Vietnam conflict, pull no punches. The VC are vicious and think outside the box. The NVA are vicious and professional. The officers who command from the fire bases want to further their career. This is the Allied officers want to further their career and can be bloodthirsty to the point of excessive Allied casualties. Hence the friendly fire stories. I did a video a while back called The Bad Lieutenant. go watch that one. Pot and heroin and opium use are widespread throughout this entire theater of war. The black market got as much of our supplies as the frontline units did, maybe more in some areas. Supply sergeants are usually on the take about a third of the time. All of this combines for an experience unlike any other war in history. Let's not forget prostitution, STDs, bad morale, and all of the other off-duty situations. Now, I do not know what happened to my original Recon book. I suspect it was stolen, because I don't throw books away, and I don't lose books. But I can't find it anywhere. And what I have now is the deluxe revised Recon rulebook. It is awesome. I recommend you get it. If you don't have it, definitely get it. I suggest you read everything from pages 7 through 9, and then go and read pages 38 through 43. Then go to pages 84 through 101 and 109 through 115. Read all of these 3 times total before you even start making characters for your players. And your players have to be there to make these characters. Okay? Then with your players, read and discuss pages 164 through 169. This will give them an idea of how guerrilla warfare is done in the jungle. Then read and discuss with them the section on Red Dukowski's backpack on pages 51 and 52. I realize this is a lot of reading and prep work for you and your players, but you'd be surprised at how many young people watch Rambo movies and think that's all it is. Most people literally have no clue. Now, if all they want is a fun game, then read all of that yourself and try to design games or missions based on their experience level. They are your friends, so you know how best to challenge them without going overboard. There are a few little odds and ends that I do, and I'm going to try to get into that in later videos, that I do not follow the rules on, but pay close attention to the MOSs. Every character has 2 MOSs, military occupational specialties. And what those are, they're your jobs in the military. There's a sniper, medic, grenadier, that kind of thing. Intel guy. And so pay close attention to those, because the guy, I recommend, I'm going to get to this shortly, I recommend that the sergeant and the lieutenant be NPCs that you run, so you can give orders and give them an idea. That way later on they can come up with their own ideas, and it fits the world, the theater of war. But the intel guy has a lot of clout and power in the group, as does the RTO, radio telephone operator, the guy who carries the Prick 25 on his back. The PRC-25 backpack radio. Yeah. Anyway, I'll get to that here shortly. Now, if they want to go straight to the mercenary aspect, one of the movies you need to watch, and I would not even try to run a mercenary game without watching this movie, is a movie called Dogs of War with Christopher Walken. This has been called one of the most realistic films on the mercenary experience by real mercenaries. Okay, so keep that in mind. If your players are transitioning from Vietnam soldiers to mercenaries, here is a method I use to urge them into mercenary life. And you can use this right at the beginning of your game. If all they want to do is be mercenaries, I usually start with this. The player characters survive and go home and have to find jobs. In the 70s, in real life, jobs were hard to come by, especially when Carter was in office. And I don't want to make this political, so that's all I'll say about that. Most people dislike the returning Vietnam veterans, and many even spit at them. The term baby killer was used quite a bit. That's the attitude. Okay? I allow the player characters to find the most demeaning jobs imaginable. Fast food, garbage collector, ditch digger, etc. Garbage man, that kind of thing. And make their immediate superior an imbecile, a complete idiot, with delusions of grandeur. So this guy's an idiot, but he wants to tell everybody what to do. After a few weeks having to put up with that crap, have an old buddy see them and mention that he's making decent money using the skills he learned in Vietnam. He recommends the player characters go talk to the mercenary contact that he uses. You get to make a mercenary contact, and I use a disabled veteran who owns a bar. That's my favorite one to use. You can make this contact as elaborate as you'd like. This guy is one of the people that clients contact when they need mercenary work. He will take a fee from the client to put them in contact with the player characters. This guy should this guy should be tough and no nonsense, and he should never ever betray the player characters, no matter how much money is offered. That is his stock in trade. His word is his bond. His reputation is literally everything to him. So he's never going to betray a brother. That's the way I play it. This will allow the players to work their way into the life of a mercenary without too many bumps. Read the mercenary sections, pages 22, 23, 44 through 51, and 119 through 131. And again, I'm going to do more recon videos, but this is the basics for running good games, in my opinion. You have to tailor the game to the players, but if they want realism, you really can't pull any punches. Okay? If the characters in this game are designed to be disposable. In war, people die. In war, people die without ever knowing they were under fire. In war, people die by stepping on the wrong rock. You see what I'm saying? They're moving through the brush, and there's a tripwire they don't see. Boom, you're dead. And not only you, but the guy behind you dies too. You see what I'm saying? The point man misses an ambush, and the whole group walks in there, and there's fire from two sides, and they're in a crossfire, and people get killed. Before they even realize they're under fire, two or three of them are dead. That kind of thing. That is the Vietnam War. Jungle warfare was horrific, and that's putting it mildly. Now, there is one thing that I would like to stress. They have in the game what's called mobile overwatch. Read that to your players. Read that very carefully to your players. They learn this before they go to Vietnam. They had a jungle warfare school, and there were several places around the world. Australia was one. But the point being, the players would have learned this before their characters would have learned this before they went to Vietnam. So, before they actually got in country. So, make sure that you read that to them so they know what they're expected to do at the very basics. I hope this helps. And again, I'm not saying this is how you have to do things, but this is how I do it. It works out well. I have no idea when I started playing Recon. I think it was in the late 80s. So keep that in mind. If you get the opportunity to check out Recon, do it. And I hope this video helps. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all. Clarissa Lowe, a historian from the future. Delmore Kane, a Civil War veteran turned outlaw. This oddball pairing faces a conspiracy of epic proportions spanning the centuries. If you like action and adventure westerns with a splash of science fiction and fantasy, check out my book series Drifters and their ongoing adventures.